over the weekend, I was discussing some matters with some particular friends, and something dawned on me, something that I'd never really fully analyzed before. And I came up with somewhat of a visual analogy for it to represent it to the individuals I was discussing this with. And they found this to be quite intriguing and so forth. And to this day, uh, even now, it's still very overwhelming. It's a concept that's probably been discovered and done by some great philosopher in the past and whatnot. I just don't happen to know of one that did it. So maybe I'm stealing somebody else's idea, but I assure you this all came to me independently, and I'm gonna dub it with my own name right now. Um, Perhaps maybe sometime in the future it'll become some big concepts and they'll name kind of measurement after me or something like a Newton. I don't know. But anyway, here's my go on it. Hopefully I explain it as best as I can. Okay, so basically this is represented in its most simplest form. You have a topic in which two people are discussing, and then you have person one and person two, both with different viewpoints. So we have viewpoint one and viewpoint two. Now, person one analyzes the topic from their point of view and derives conclusion number one. Person number two uses their viewpoint to analyze the exact same topic and derives conclusion number two. So now you have to ask yourself the question, who's wrong? Who's right? Well, which conclusion is right? From the viewpoint of number one, viewpoint number two's conclusion is not right from viewpoint number one. But viewpoint number two can say the exact same thing about viewpoint number one's conclusion. So, we have a predicament here, don't we? Whose conclusion is the more intelligible and the most logically derived one? Well, in this case, we need somewhat of a referee. We need a moderator. Enter the unbiased viewpoint. Now, what the unbiased viewpoint does is it analyzes the viewpoint of person number one and the viewpoint of person number two and draws the most logical conclusion based on the viewpoints of both, trying to prohibit themselves from applying their own bias concepts to their conclusion. So now we have the self-proclaimed unbiased conclusion. Now it's important to note at this point that none of these conclusions are right or wrong. They're just three different conclusions. However, from the individuals that came to these conclusions, that is going to be the most, and I'm using quotation marks here even though you can't see them, that is going to be the most right conclusion to them from their perspective. And generally, if one conclusion has to be accepted by society, it's likely going to be the unbiased conclusion, because it's the most logical one with all accounts taken in. Now, what I've noticed is you can actually apply DaMaXMaN Perspective to pretty much any argument that exists, and it actually makes a lot more sense when you break it down into this very simple context. So I'm going to give you another example here, and we'll make the topic, let's say, abortion. Now, I think it's safe to say that anybody ever arguing on the topic of abortion is actually doing so because they want better for society. So we're going to start everybody off on this topic as being pro-life. Now from here we can take down many other paths, but for the sake of argument in this example, I'm just going to use two viewpoints. First one being the rights of a fetus and the rights of a parent. And once again, you'll find that we can draw two completely different conclusions on the exact same topic, but it depends which viewpoint those conclusions are drawn from. So, what's the whole point of this? Just to make people aware that there is no right and there is no wrong. There's just different conclusions from different viewpoints. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed this.